Okay, this article is written by Jamie Klien of motorsport.com. He is speaking about the issue that Nissan is taking with the BoP adjustments relative to the Subaru. It is titled Nissan Unhappy with GT300 BoP relative to Subaru. Nissan has expressed its unhappiness with the balance of performance in Super GT's GT300 class after Subaru took half of their available poles for a second season running. Seems like to me they're just hating, just off the top of my head. Once I read that first little tagline, I'm thinking they're just hating, right? The Works R&D Subaru BRZ, built to GTA GT300 rules, took 4 pole positions and started from the front row 6 times out of the 8 during Iguchi and Yamauchi's title-winning 2021 season. Despite BoP adjustments being made in a bid to slow down the GTA GT300 cars relative to the FIA GT3 rivals last year, Iguchi and Yamauchi enjoyed similar success in qualifying. The pair scored pole positions at Okayama, Fuji Round 2, Sugo, and Autopolis, while also qualifying second for Fuji Round 4, at Suzuka Round 3. Turbo Trouble and QT restricted them to 15th, but they topped Q1 and could have feasibly scored pole there too. By contrast, the title-winning Kondo Racing Nissan GTR Nismo GT3, driven by, I'm not going to say his whole name, but Oliveira and Fujinama, never qualified on pole, taking a highest grid slot of 3rd at Suzuka Round 3 and an average grid slot of 7.4 across the year. The only time a Nissan qualified on pole all season was at Suzuka Round 5, where the number 10 Ganner GTR, shared by Okusa and Tomita, took top spot, although the same car was fastest at Suzuka Round 3, only to be disqualified for a technical infraction. Although Nissan entries locked out the top positions in final standings, so hold on. So they locked out the top positions in final standings, and they're complaining. Okay, let's continue. Let's not make our assumptions or our criticisms without fully reading the article. Although Nissan entries locked out the top positions in final standings, helped by a difficult final race for Subaru and Motegi, Nismo COO Matsumura believes that further adjustments to BoP are needed for 2023 to make qualifying more fair. So his issue is with qualifying. So we've already made the point, or really the results show that the Nissans have locked out top positions in the final standings. But for lack of better words, they suck in qualifying. So if they suck in qualifying and they're good during the race, now he's trying to make BoP adjustments to make it to where they're more competitive in qualifying to even it out. But see, here's the thing. That won't necessarily even it out, because if the BRZ is running the game, you know what I'm saying? If they're taking over everything during qualifying and the Nissan can't compare, that's not necessarily Subaru's fault. The BoP changes were already made in, when does it say? The BoP adjustments were made last year, and they still ran the game. They still took over everything. So it's not really their fault. It's really a machinery fault. So if Nissan doesn't have a car, or is not producing a car to actually be competitive during qualifying, that's not Subaru's fault, and they shouldn't be punished for it. That's just my opinion. It seems like to me, the Nismo COO is kind of taking a bureaucratic approach just to try to win, and I think that's kind of lame, because in the end, Subaru's going to be the loser. The car just needs to be fixed, my opinion. Let's continue. Comparing the performance in qualifying with the number 61 car, it seems that our race results with the GTR are good, but our qualifying is quite slow. Yeah, I know. So I hope they fairly adjust the BoP. For our general customers, Tomei Sports, it's quite difficult to challenge in the race. So I want them, the GTA, to check the qualifying. The race itself can be affected by strategy, pit work, driver skill, but qualifying is just pure performance. See, here's the thing. See, that was very slick wordplay of what he did there, because he said the race itself can be affected by strategy, pit work, driver skill, but qualifying is just pure performance. Now, he split up driver skill and performance. So he's saying performance is purely just the performance of the car. And he's saying driver skill is another aspect of that. See, me, I would think that driver skill and the performance of the car go hand in hand. I understand you can't really win with a slower car, but I don't really think that the BoP is affecting the Nissan that much. I think, honestly, this is a situation where you're just trying to find any opportunity to come out on top. And I feel like that's what's happening, because I never would have put driver skill and performance in a different category, honestly, my opinion. I understand why they are separate, but for this case, I wouldn't put them in a different category, because especially when it comes to qualifying, there's a lot of things that goes into play. We can take in the aspect of being consistent. We can take in the aspect of possessing the ability to be fast over 2 laps. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe the Nissan drivers are fast over a longer period of time, as opposed to the Subaru guys being quicker over a shorter period of time. I don't know, but I think that was a little petty for him to actually word it in that way. Nissan's GT3 program is currently limited to Super GT's GT300 class and the Super Taku series, with no examples of the GTR racing in any other major worldwide championships running to GT3 rules. See, I think that maybe they should look back, was it 2 or 3 years ago when they were running the GTR? See what they were doing, because if I'm not mistaken, the GTR was actually running the game back then too. So maybe they can take a page out of that and see what's going on with that. For instance, APR is not running the Prius anymore in the GT300 class. They're actually moving to the LC500, the Lexus LC500. The Lexus LC500, if I'm not mistaken, won a championship when it was actually there, and it was a top runner. So maybe they should take a page out of them, as opposed to begging for the BoP adjustments to, take place. Because let's not act like this. Let's not act like this BoP adjustments that they're asking for is just gonna hinder or affect one team. It's gonna affect the whole grid. I think that's kind of lame. I'll say that again. The current version of the GTR Nismo GT3 entered competition in 2018, receiving a small update in 2020, and is homologated through the 2028 season. Matsumura said Nissan currently has no plans to introduce an all-new GT3 model. What this tells me is that Matsumura said there's no plans to introduce an all-new GT3 model. He knows there's nothing coming in the future, so he's going to be stuck in this situation for a while. So let's just go ahead and get the rules changed. That's kind of lame. It just looks like Subaru's going to be the loser in the end. I don't think this is fair. But, what do I know? I'm over here in the States. I'm over here in Texas, and that's happening way over there in Japan.